and they did it all without destroying any legacy characters. They were already ruined. The power of I am Mecca. We are talking about Star Wars, the power of one, the power of two, the power of many. No, we're coming back. Yes, fake hair has chemo. Yes, thank you so much for everybody who's contributed to the GoFundMe. I really, really appreciate that. And I'm not going to be just talking about that. We're talking about actual, real important things.
Explain everything again. Do not put me on hold again. Do not put me on...
Skeleton Crew has worse ratings on Disney Plus than The Acolyte. So this is the consensus that's going around the internet. The Acolyte did to the streaming TV series what The Last Jedi did to Solo, a Star Wars story, which lost $80 million, I believe. I can't remember. It's been how many years? Yeah, I think it was $80 million. These properties keep losing money for Disney. Looks like The Acolyte did to the Skeleton Crew, according to this user, what The Last Jedi did to Solo. Absolutely. And they didn't even do it with any legacy characters. They didn't they didn't humiliate Luke Skywalker. They didn't kill Han Solo off in a movie. They didn't bait and switch. We just got, lesbian space witches in space. We have a whole article from Bleeding Fool, how the Acolyte damaged Disney's Skeleton Crew and the entire Star Wars brand. That's how bad it got. That's how bad these are. All of these shows and streaming. So Star Wars, for me, Star Wars. Three movies. The prequels suck.
Say something about the motherfucking prequels.
The sequels suck.
You can't stop me, I'm a Jedi from Jakku.
The TV shows based on the prequels. Why did I want to watch those when I didn't like the prequels?
Say something nice about Jar Jar Binks.
That's my opinion on it. Now, I'm not going to add say something about the prequels clip like I usually do. Maybe I will in the edit. I'm not sure, because I already have to edit in the space switches, the Spesbian lace switches. The power of one, the power of two. I can't say it correctly, but that's what they are now. They're Spesbian lace switches. The power of many. Talking and singing about the power of 2x2 and blue by blue, and she twerks, apparently. She twerks and tells you how much of an istophobe you are, because the articles are pitting us all against each other in Star Wars fandom, which was 3 movies in 1983. Most people complain about Star Wars were not even alive. I was, because,
I don't understand. This is everything I'm supposed to be doing.
I'm old, but most people were not even alive when these original 3 films were even in the theater. The Acolyte's abysmal failure was so severely impacted Star Wars franchise that even the new Skeleton Crew continues to struggle to attract viewers due to lingering negative reactions to the Acolyte. Has Disney broken Star Wars beyond repair? Yeah, I think so. Speaking of Star Wars, yeah, I think they might have broken it beyond repair. They might have. The ratings, here, lower than The Acolyte. The Nielsen ratings for the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew are in, revealing that they are worse than The Acolyte, worse than Andor, and seemingly the worst Star Wars ratings on Disney Plus so far. For me, I just didn't want to sit through a TV streamer with a bunch of kids going, and they're just arguing. This little kid's arguing. I don't have the patience for it. I'm not a babysitter. I just don't care that much. Because that wasn't what Star Wars was. It was grown adult Han Solo, grown adult Luke Skywalker, grown adult Princess Leia, and Yoda, who was like 1,000,000 years old. So, and Ewoks. Oh, don't forget the Ewoks. Stuff like that. It wasn't a bunch of kids arguing, as far as I remember. I mean, maybe did the droids? I'm not even gonna speculate. Don't care. Skeleton Crew was also the first Star Wars show not to have its premiere make the Nielsen ratings, which are automatically turned on to your Disney Plus accounts. Samba TV also, again, refused to publish numbers. Samba TV hasn't published ratings for a majority of the recent Star Wars and Marvel shows, likely at the request of Disney, who is an investor in the company, as obviously as ratings are in the gutter. That's what usually happens. So what happens with a lot of the articles that aren't from like independent people like this? So when you have your Screen Rants and your Hollywood Reporters and your varieties, they still want to get access to Kathleen Kennedy and these producers like Leslye Headland over on The Acolyte.
Movie, I'm like, there is no Star Wars movie. There is only Star Wars.
And all of that. So they want to have interviews with these people, so they have to kind of paint them all in the most positive light. So their job is basically to sell you, the potential viewer, on how great of a show this is might be, based on them saying, yes, it's the best thing ever, because that's your job. Your job is to kiss up to the thing that you're trying to sell or promote.
Oh, please, Queen Kathleen Kennedy.
Which is dishonest, I think. It's extremely dishonest, and it keeps bad streaming shows on the air. It keeps people canceling their subscriptions. I mean, inflation's at an all-time high at this point. The streaming services keep going up and up and up. I'm surprised people still have Disney Plus at this point. Disney Plus at this point. Particularly alarming. The first 2 episodes. Yeah, we already read that. So it's not even showing up. The ratings are so low, they're not even showing up on the Nielsen's. What are the ratings? Nielsen released its ratings for the week of December 2nd through 8th. However, covering the premiere of the first 2 episodes of Skeleton Crew on December 2nd. However, the show failed to make the list. Okay, I'm reading that completely backwards. You get the point of it. The bottom spot on the Nielsen Streamers original list belongs to the Great British Baking Show. Hey, everybody likes baking. I've been baking and cooking more than watching these streaming shows because I have about an hour of energy a day, and I'd rather spend it doing something enjoyable than watching a bad TV show that I'm just going to say is bad because it's annoying and bad. Is Skeleton Crew that bad? I think people like it in general. I think people do tend to want to support it, but they just don't want to sit through another Star Wars streaming show with hardly anything recognizable from the first 2 movies, 3 movies. Hardly anything recognized. It's just all expanded universe stuff. And then there's this type of crap. Oh, for crying out loud. So here's our ratings if you want to break it down. Skeleton Crew didn't make the list. Its total viewership was below 382 million minutes, meaning the average per episode was under 191 million minutes. So they go by minutes. They don't go by how many people actually tuned in and clicked it. They're going by how many people are sticking through the entire show, not just tuning in for the first 10 minutes to go, what else is on? What else is on? There's other things on, you know.
The black shield is the black shield. And it comes down and it goes up the shield.
And or premiered with the first 3 episodes with 624 million. Wow. Oh, The Acolyte. 488 million minutes viewed, averaging 244 million minutes per episode. Again, 2 episodes average lower of Skeleton Crew, falling short of both The Acolyte and Andor. Because we're just tired of being called istophobes. We're tired of being blamed for we aren't making these things. We are not making these things. We're not making these things. And you know what? Some casual Star Wars viewer might tune into this if it didn't have all of this toxic negativity crap of the actors going off on the people saying, hey, the show's not very good, it's kind of cringy, it's kind of bad, it's a bunch of lesbian space witches in space. What does this article say from January 7th? Bleeding Fool. Star Wars Acolyte failure has severely impacted the Star Wars franchise, particularly the new series Skeleton Crew, which continues to struggle to attract viewers, likely due to the lingering negative perception of The Acolyte. Yeah, that was the one where Leslye Headland came in and decided that it was going to be more diverse and representation and telling a story based on diverse and representation, apparently. I don't remember what the plot was. It was the 2 sisters who looked identical because it was the same actress, right? They couldn't even hire twins. They couldn't even pay for 2 different actors. So they have the exact same hairstyle for no reason. at all through the entire thing. They look exactly the same because it's the same actress. She doesn't have the depth of range for me to tell them apart. That was my thing with The Acolyte, more so than even the gay stuff, more so than any of the stuff that's for these modern audiences and younger people who are all into this stuff. It is hard for a casual normie viewer to even know what the crap was going on. To even know what the crap, like, I'm not going to pretend to be the most hardcore Star Wars fan out there. Absolutely not. I am definitely going to admit to being a casual normie who's going to look up when I'm like, oh, hey, Star Wars stuff. That's kind of fun. And if it's not fun, I'll complain about it and move on to the next thing. I'll go complain more about Star Trek or politics or go cook. I'll get my butt back in the kitchen and make you a pasta bake. If you missed that stream from yesterday, go check that out.
Yeah, remember Alex?
Recent revelations have shed light on the grand vision that Leslye Headland and her mentor Kathleen Kennedy had for the series. The Acolyte had it not been unceremoniously canceled. Initially, Headland planned for 3 seasons and a feature film, aiming to delve deeper into the High Republic era of Star Wars lore, which I don't care about as a casual normie. I think you're casual normie fans, right? Your hardcore fans are going to love and want and consume every little piece of Star Wars lore that gets added. There's nothing wrong with that. Your casual normie fans and viewers of things that, oh, I kind of like sci-fi stuff. Those type of people are going to pop their heads in, and once it's bad, they're not going to buy any merch. They're not going to buy, like, this is an old t-shirt. This is a really old one. They're not going to buy t-shirts. They're not going to buy merch. They're going to go on to the next thing because they're not going to say anything negative because we are in this no negativity culture, and you know how those people ruined everything by never ever speaking up and saying something sucked like Beavis and Butthead should have.
Beavis? This sucks.
Back in the day, or would have been. They would have been back in the day. No, they were there going, oh no, we can't say anything bad. Can't say anything bad because why? That would be istophobic. That would hurt somebody's feelings. They worked really hard on this. Yes, they did. And you know what? It sucked. It sucked. It really sucked. It was really stupid. Skeleton Crew was just annoying kids screaming to me anyway. Did you guys like it? Did you watch it? I know a lot of people are giving it the review of it's like being a kid, going out with your fake lightsabers and having Star Wars space battles. Okay, but I'm not 5 years old. Not 5 years old anymore. Real world, real worries, real concerns. This is supposed to be our escapism. And when you're stopping us in the middle of a thing to make it a message. For example, making sure that every bit of marketing and promotion talks more about that and talks about how we're just bad fans. We're just bad fans for not liking whatever and noticing it. Maybe that's a you problem, entertainment industry, okay? Maybe that's a you problem. Maybe that's a you problem.
I'm naked.
I'm like naked.
Aiming to delve deeper. Okay, this information came to light during the panel at Fan Expo, where actor Mani Hinto shared insights into Headland's aspirations. He mentioned the team had much more to explore, hinting at significant plot developments that were left untouched due to the show's cancellation. Oh, like the romance between shirtless dude and one of the twins. I can't remember which one was the good one or the bad one between Osha and May. That might have been a problem with The Acolyte.
The power of
He says, I remember Leslie's dream was for us to do 3 seasons, not just 1. There's something about having a finite ending to things that makes it so much more special. So yeah, I don't know if I do it or not, but 3 seasons and a movie would have been incredible. And I know we had so much more to explore with the 2nd season. No. Who cared? Who cared about these 2 characters at that point? I think we were rooting for both of them to just die at that point. Were we? I don't remember. Despite these ambitious plans, The Acolyte faced numerous challenges, including a ballooning budget, which caused series financial constraints. The poor ratings and disappointing viewership numbers were the final nail in the coffin. The series reportedly cost upwards of $239 million to produce. They spent about $500 million on Andor. They spent about $500 million on Andor, I think, too. And when marketing expenses were factored in, that easily exceeds $400 million. So yeah, almost $500 million on The Acolyte as well. So that's pretty much average what they're paying and spending. for no recognizable characters, no legacy characters. They didn't even dust off. They didn't even bring in Yoda or something. They didn't even bring in a CGI Yoda for the. Was he around in the High Republic? See, now you're making me confused too. Another issue: casual normie viewers get confused about what timeline and when, who's alive when. When's Luke Skywalker alive? Okay, when's Obi-Wan Kenobi alive? When's this character? How old are they in this? Okay, so it's after they're dead. Too many of them to keep straight. You've got too many of them in different timelines. They're too expensive. This is exactly the problem when they were going to slow down production of these properties back in 2020. Bob Iger said, you know what, we're going to go over quality instead of quantity, because they were doing a movie every year for about a minute until Solo lost all that money, and then they decided, let's refocus that. But then what did? They just threw them all in their streaming service, and it's the exact same effect. It's the exact same effect. They're just losing all this money because, repeat, rinse and wash. Run an article about how they're blaming the fans, and the fans are like, okay, well, you don't want my money, I'll go somewhere else. And we've become apathetic. What happened? Did fans just tune in to watch Skeleton Crew? Why didn't they just tune in? It's from Spider-Man directors, so you think it was decent, right? The answer seems clear. Fans just aren't interested. I think we're Star Wars'd out. We were Star Wars'd out after the bad movies. We were Star Wars'd out after the calling us all istophobes for, I don't even, why? Why were they calling us that? I can't even remember. And this crap. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? Are we just dividing the fan base too much? Is it too many properties? Because this is exactly why they slowed down of the theatrical releases. There was too many of them. They were too bad. They were too much recasting, too big of a reboot. They were trying to throw it all against the wall. And Star Wars used to be the special thing where you'd see it maybe once a year, or, you know, if you had the videotapes, you'd watch those. But they weren't the thing that they were just on all the time. In every imaginable consumable. It wasn't just something that was so oversaturated on television, on streaming things. It was like a special deal. It was a big deal to get a Star Wars movie. And now it's just not special anymore. I am Mecca. Is Star Wars special, or are just the people who are creating it special? I will see you guys on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Please subscribe to this channel.
Put a chick in it, make her gay!
Fade out.